on here. Hey, Facebook. Hey, Instagram. It's your favorite talker. I'm here to talk. I'm not prepared at all today. I tried to puff up my afro. Couldn't find my earrings or none of that. But I'm here to talk to you today. Of course, because it's Friday and we got some things to talk about. So, my name is Reese Roberts. This is Entertain the Thought for those of you who are new to this broadcast that I do every week, twice a week. Y'all excuse me for just a moment because sometimes I like to just fall onto this live thing and I don't really be ready. My face look a mess. And I mean, seriously, this is a podcast. And so I really am not supposed to have to care about how I look. I'm supposed to just get on here and sound good. So bear with me while I try to do that. Today we're going to be talking about how intentions work. Okay, I got a couple of points I want to make to you. Some things I would like for you to think about when it comes to your manifestations in this dimension. And I also want for you to just think about how intentions work as you're moving about your life and when you are manifesting things. So I'm going to get started. I don't know if I have too many people joining me already on Facebook. The little tool, the device I'm using doesn't allow me to see who's in and who's out. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So firstly, when we're talking about intentions in the universe, you guys, it gets very tricky because you create your intentions. You create your own intention. And when you are doing that, it's up to you to set your intentions accordingly. That's where it gets tricky because setting your intentions accordingly really depends on how well you actually know yourself and how well you know what you want. So if you're going to set your intentions according to a righteous path, according to something that you'd like to do righteously for yourself, then you really need to set your intentions in a specific way, knowing how intentions actually work in that process. So this is what we're going to talk about today. A couple of the characteristics and the traits of intention and how it actually affects the process of manifestation in your conscious reality. Okay, so firstly, we want to talk about a comment that a sister made on my Instagram page where she basically said that she was afraid because she had started to manifest a lot of things that she was not prepared for, that she just was basically going to run from. So she had a lot of feelings of failure because she was running from her manifestations, even though these are her own creations. So what I want you to really get in your mind is having a lack of intention is really what happens I want to say that the fear comes from when you have a lack of intentions, okay? Or when you don't know how to set the intention, so there's a lacking of it. If you're not making your intentions consciously, because we'll talk about this later, there is a conscious setting of intention, and then there is an unconscious acting out or setting of intention, because what you're doing physically, this is very important to hear, what you're doing physically indicates your intention. I hope that made sense. Whatever you're doing physically is what you are actually doing intentionally. So if you're actively thinking something, that may or may not be intentional. It could be a subconscious, it may or may not be a conscious intention. A thought could just be a subconscious intention where you're thinking a certain way because that's how you sort of want to think in an abstract way. But because you're not consciously aware of, let's just say, negative self-talk, negative talking to yourself. You may not be very conscious that you're intentionally thinking that way. So your subconscious intention is honestly where it gets the most tricky when we're talking about manifestations and setting your intentions. So when this young woman tells me, I was manifesting very quickly and I began to be fearful of my manifestations and the things that I was coming up with, the first thing that came into my mind to ask her about, or to sort of understand better, was, where are your intentions? Because if you're intentionally acting something out, meaning you're manifesting things into this reality, which one and the same, then because you're intentional about it, it means you wouldn't necessarily be afraid of it unless there was a lack of intention connected to your manifestation. Or else, why would there be fear attached to it? So when I say, are you checking your intentions? Are you looking into the reasons why you're manifesting these things? I sort of lost her in that communication because, and here she is, hey sis, there was a sort of gray area there, coming to this point of checking the intention. Because how do you check your intentions? How do you convince yourself of the reasons why you're doing certain things? And so there's an added layer here where we have to consider the fact that setting intentions is largely dependent upon knowing who you are and knowing what you want. In order to set intentions in an appropriate way, one must first align with themselves, because when you're moving out into the universe to manifest things and to call things towards you by way of your magnetism, your what do you call it? Your magnetic field, meaning your heart. When your heart gets to vibrating on a certain level by way of your intentions, it will draw things into you. But if you don't know who you are and what you actually want, then this vibration, this magnet, will start to draw things to you that you were not ready for, not prepared for, not intending to attract to you. Because it comes down to a matter of, is that what you wanted in the first place? If you're fearful of what you created, it essentially boils down to, this was not the creation that you intended. Because when you went into the manifestation process, the first thing is finding out, why am I manifesting this? And this is what I mean by conscious intention. A subconscious intention says, oh, I just want that. It looks good. I'm going to manifest it because I can. And then when it comes, because I have not evaluated myself, because I have not really put any real thought into, do I need this? Do I want this? Can I handle this? Am I ready for this? Going into this conscious form of intention, a conscious form of manifestation. Then the manifestation comes after you planted the seed, you manifest this thing, and now you've got a plant that won't grow, or you've got a fruit that is going to die soon because it's not in the proper climate. Do you understand? There's no way to maintain this manifestation or to handle this manifestation or to understand this manifestation. So what happens? We become fearful of it itself because, we fear that which we don't understand. And why we went into this manifestation period, why we went into this manifestation process, then of course the things that get returned back to us are not always things that we wanted or always things that we truly wish for. That goes back to the phrase of be careful what you wish for, because if you have not set the intention in a place where it's going to make sense to your spirit, where it's going to reap a benefit to you, then of course when it comes back, yes I am, when it comes back, then when it comes back to you, then there is this confusion around it because we have this moment of second guessing. I didn't check why I went into this. So I don't necessarily know that this is what I want. I can use myself as an example here because I have been I have been in places where, oh goodness, let's just use I always talk about my experience in corporate America. I was in corporate America because I felt there was something there for me. I felt that I could reap these huge benefits from climbing the corporate ladder, and I did everything I could to manifest that into my life. I applied for corporate jobs. When I got into the federal government, which is a corporation, I got involved. I climbed the ladder. I totally manifested this corporate climbing career, and this is what I thought I actually wanted. But because I really truly had a lack of knowledge of who I was, when this climbing started to happen, I started to get to a place where I realized this is not actually my environment. This is not where I want to be. I don't like this place. I don't like these people. I don't like who I've become. I don't like what this is doing to me. And this is what I manifested. I did all the work it took for me to get to that place. And then when I got there, I was like, I gotta go. I have to go because this isn't for me. This is clearly not the manifestation I wanted. But if I had gone into it from a place of being prepared, how do you prepare for your intention setting? How do you prepare to set your intentions? You investigate. You must go through a process of investigation where you have to find out the purpose of the manifestation. Find out your personal purpose. Why is it that you want to manifest this thing? What is it going to do for you? How is it going to help you grow? Do you know yourself enough to set those parameters? Do you know yourself enough to actually make these decisions right now in order for you to come up with this manifestation? Because if you don't know these things and you go ahead and manifest, then you'll end up like me. And you'll end up in a place where you have set yourself further behind than you set yourself ahead. Because what I did was I went ahead and manifested this corporate career that I didn't actually want. And so when I realized I didn't want it, it became a burden to me. It became something that was holding me back instead of propelling me forward. So I had to let it go and reset all the way back from the beginning. But you better know very clearly what I did was reset back to a place where I knew what I did wrong. I knew that when I went into my corporate career, I didn't know myself. So I needed to go back to square one and get to know myself, because this was the way I was going to set my intention for my career. I was going to go into it where I'm not going to be spinning my wheels trying to do something that doesn't suit me, trying to do something that's just looking good because other people are making it look good. Other people are very successful at climbing the corporate ladder. Other people who even look like me, Black women, are out there doing numbers, climbing the corporate ladder. But because I am who I am, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it just because other women made it look good. I couldn't do it just because it was going to get me some money in my pocket. I had to figure out, why was I doing it? What was my purpose? And I realized that the reason why I was there was because I was trying to make someone appreciate me for the value I knew I had. But that wasn't working. It wasn't going that way. So I had to go back and regroup. So we're going to go to the second thing that I want to talk about when it comes to setting your intentions, because there are dynamics that come along with setting intentions properly. And so we've already established that when you set your intention in a proper way, the first thing you must do is learn. You must seek out and explore your environment before you set your intentions. If you're setting your intentions for a particular thing, what environment are you going to be in? I was setting my intentions for my corporate career. So I had to study, what type of corporate environment do I want to be in? I didn't want to be an employee in a corporate environment. I wanted to be my own corporation in a corporate environment, because I went out into the corporate world and I explored it. I saw what it looked like. I saw how it worked. I saw who I was inside of that environment. And I recognized that me as an employee in the corporate environment didn't work for me. What I need to do is regroup and set myself up to be a partner in the corporate environment, whereas my business is partnering with other corporations. And I'm my own corporate entity because honestly, that's the way nature intended. I'm not going to get into that because it's besides the point. But I recognize that this was my preparation for how I would set my corporate intentions. For you, your intentions might be something different. You might want to set your intentions for how you're going to go about finding love in your life. How do you do that? What environment are you in when it comes to building relationships and connecting with people? Are you in an environment where you can actually make a comfortable connection? Who are you as a person? What do you like in relationships? What are your pet peeves? What is it going to be to make you comfortable? This is how you prepare. You explore. And then after you've gathered enough information about where you want to be and how you want to be there, how you want to feel when you get there, how you want to feel when you leave from there, once you've gathered this information, then you can set the intention. You can say, oh, well, I see what the dating climate is like in Atlanta. This is where I live. I want to exist in the dating arena like this because I know that I'm not with the bull. I know that I'm not going to have a man running game on me in this way or the other. I know that I'm not going to settle for a man that doesn't have an ambition. I know that I'm not going to settle for a woman who is not capable of taking care of herself. I know that I am going to be looking for a specific soul, a spirit. So when you are analyzing these things, okay, when you're looking into who you want to be, how you want to be there, that's when you're prepared to set your intentions. You gather the information first. And what does this do for you? It gives you confidence. When you have, it's so many layers. Once you have your confidence in hand because you've prepared, I don't know about anybody else, but when I study for a test, I go into it very confident that I'm going to pass because I've studied. I've studied all my course materials. I have looked at my notes. I've talked to my friends about it. I have completely digested this lesson. And so I know that when I go to take the test, I can clearly just breeze through it because I know that I studied properly. I know that I studied thoroughly. It's the same thing with your intentions. You get confidence after you've properly set your intentions by preparing yourself to set the intention in the first place. It gives you a sense of confidence because you know how to consider the dynamics. You know how to say, I studied the environment that I'm in, and I actually know how to go about my intentional movement. I know how to intentional moves so that I'm getting the result that I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for this type of experience. I'm looking to have this type of result. So I want to consider all dynamics around this thing. I want to look at every little thing that I'm doing in this situation, because as I become educated, it builds up my confidence. I know that whatever it is I'm about to manifest, when it becomes a challenge, because I can guarantee you plant seeds, that seed itself becomes a challenge. Because not only do you have to plant the seed, you have to work it. You have to grow it. You have to pour into the seed for it to start to grow. So it becomes a challenge. Okay. But when you have this test or this challenge, that is the seed you planted, what you do is you breeze through it because you have prepared. You know the purpose. You know exactly why you're doing this. So the consideration becomes very easy. You're being able to consider all dynamics of your manifestation. You know that, well, when I manifest this thing, I put this seed in the ground, and because I'm already expecting, I prepared for this. So I'm already expecting a certain outcome. And when that outcome gets here, I am prepared. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to have fear around this manifestation because I know that, let's just say, for example, I'm looking for love. I know that all things considered, I went to explore what it means to be in love. I know that I'm going to have to compromise. it's going to be a challenge, but I'm prepared. I know that I'm going to have to humble myself. It's going to be a challenge, but I'll be prepared because I'm intentionally walking into this relationship, knowing the dynamics of it, knowing that I'm prepared for it. If I'm walking into a new career and I'm manifesting a career, a business, I planted the seed, but I know that when this seed, this business starts to grow up out of the ground, it becomes a challenge. I have to work to maintain my business. I actually have to do paperwork. I have to file documents. I have to advertise and market. I have to create content. I have to go out and network. I have to work. But I'm not running from the work because I prepared. I knew that when I started my business, I was going to have to do all this. I'm not running from it. Why? Because I studied my environment. I know what it's going to take. I know I don't have any other options because I'm not going back to corporate. I'm using myself as the example here. I'm not going back to corporate. No, you taking me back to corporate is basically you telling me I'm going back to jail and I'll die. Do you understand? Preparedness builds your confidence when you have a manifestation. It comes out of the ground and you know exactly what you're looking at. When you put a seed for a tomato in the ground and you pop up and you see a tomato, are you surprised? Are you afraid? No, you put a tomato seed in the ground intentionally because you wanted to get a tomato out of the ground. And so when you get that tomato, after you've gotten there, you know exactly what to do with it. You know what you're going to cook with it. You know how long it's going to last in your refrigerator. You know how it's going to taste. You know, because you prepared. So now, like I said, there's something to really consider about the fact that we are intentional about our creations, because there are some people who go into the process of manifestation, like I mentioned before, in an unconscious state of mind, where it's basically like I said before, I'm just doing this because it looks good to others. I'm doing this because somebody else made it look good to me. Somebody else convinced me. We have this conditioning coming from even when we're children, when our parents tell us, you need to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be this prestigious thing in society. But when do they ever say, you're going to be you? You're going to be whatever you want to be. Sometimes, adults will tell you, you can be whatever you want. But then in the same breath, they'll tell you, don't you bring that in my house. No, you're not going to be that around here. So it becomes a bit of a struggle for us to get to a place where we understand not only what we're manifesting, but why, the preparation that goes into it. And I can guarantee you, when you've gone to do the exploring, when you've gone inward to say, why am I doing this? It might even take you a minute to figure that out. Why am I doing this? Finding out what you're doing and why takes a long time. It takes a long time. There'll be times where I ask people, what is this doing for you? Especially relationships. When I counsel people, I ask the question a lot. What is this doing for you? Is it giving you any type of benefit? Is it giving you any type of, higher vibration? Is it giving you any type of intellectual thought, intellectual stimulation? Is it giving you any type of joy? How is it affecting you and why are you doing it? Because again, your actions, they speak to your intentions. Please hear me when I say that. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is that you're doing physically, even thinking is a physical act. Because it creates matter. When you think, it creates matter in the universe. Thinking creates things. Like I said, it's like a 3D printer. You put the image in your mind and then somehow the universe prints it out. If somebody had to think about this business card before it was actually manifested in this reality, somebody had to think out the plans and the mechanics for this lighter before it actually was able to do what it does in my hand. So they had to be very intentional about, why am I creating this? Because it has to serve a purpose. There has to be functionality here. Before this ever became a thing, somebody had to say, I need something to hold liquid in. I need something to hold liquid in. I need to manifest something that has a purpose. And so now all of us have a beautiful opportunity to drink some water. This became a thing out of somebody's mind. So when you think you're creating matter, it takes a little time for it to come into this reality, because what happens when I think I need a business card or I need a cup, something to hold my glass in, that's the only thing I know. At that point, the only thing I know is I need something to hold my water in. What materials I'm going to use to create this. I don't know how I'm going to produce this. I don't know what I'm going to print on the front of it. I don't know if I can hold other liquids inside of here. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. Where am I going to store it? I don't know. All I know is I need something. This is just a thought I have in my head. I need something to hold my water in. And what do? I go through the process of manifestation. I spend my time. Okay. I know the purpose already. I start to prepare. Preparedness. I set my intentions. I'm intentionally thinking that I have a need that needs to be met. I know the purpose, why I need to do this. I'm putting the work in. Draw out my plans. I start to say, I need a cup. How do I make a cup? What's feasible? What kind of shape should I make? You know, you start to write out some plans. You start writing down stuff. Well, this looks good. I could make it look like this. I could make it look like that. That looks good. This is how you're creating matter. You could go a step further. You start putting words on a piece of paper. You start putting words down. More matter. This is more matter. It becomes even denser. After you take it out of your mind, it becomes dense. You put it on this paper, it's even denser. The next thing you know, you got a prototype. Oh, you got a prototype. What happens when you start to thinking you got this idea? Now you got something else that holds water. You understand? You got this that holds water. You got this that holds water. You got all kinds of things that serve the same purpose. Now it's because you're creating matter out of your mind. But why are you doing it? If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, physically doing it, you're physically mapping out plans to do things. You're in your life writing out, you think, and even if you don't write it out, you could be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm about to, make this man fall in love with me, or make this woman go on this date with me. And you spend all your time and your attention trying to reel this person in. You trying to get them to love you. You trying to get them to fall for you and be in your life. You just spending all your time planning. How am I going to do it? I'm going to take them out. I'm going to wear these clothes. I'm going to say the right things. I'm going to do all of this. I'm putting all this work in. Do you even know why you want that person in your life? Do you even know why you're creating this manifestation? Does that person feel good to you? Because if they don't, this is what you're consciously putting in, or subconsciously putting into your reality. If you're not asking yourself, why am I doing this? And you're actually coming up with a real answer as to why this is being manifest, trust and believe me, that is an unconscious intention, and it is likely to bring you whatever. Go back to my example of planting a seed into the ground. If you just go and get a bowl of seeds that are just mixed in together, you have no idea which seed is which, and you just start planting them in the ground. Just arbitrarily. You're not even looking at the damn seed. You're not even trying to figure out this is a sunflower seed, because you might be able to look at it and tell. You don't even care. You just putting the seeds in the ground. You just throwing them. You don't even care if it's in the soil. You just putting it down on the cement. You just throwing them. When you go to reap that harvest, you have no idea what you got. You have no idea what you're getting out of that harvest. All you know is that you put something in the ground and you've been watering it. You've been working on it, and whatever comes up is what comes up. What if you get a whole bunch of harvest that you can't do nothing with? What if you get a whole bunch of fruit that you don't like how it tastes? What if you get a whole bunch of food you don't know how to cook? You don't know what to do with none of this stuff. It's because you're not consciously creating your intention, consciously putting yourself in a place where I know what I've done. I know why I did it, and I know what I'm getting from it. I know what I want from it. And if maybe I make a few mistakes, I might have to tweak it a little bit and say, oh, well, this wasn't exactly the manifestation I wanted to get back from this. But at the same time, I can tweak it a little bit. I can go back just a little bit in my plan. Instead of jumping all the way back to the beginning, I might be able to just go back and draw back a little bit on my plan and say, well, this wasn't exactly the result that I wanted, but it's good so far. Let me just tweak this a little bit and move on. You see what I mean? It's just a matter of, how am I preparing because I'm exploring, I'm absorbing my environment, and I'm also analyzing myself. I'm also looking at how I want to exist. Don't forget that this is your reality to create. So when you're creating, your intentions are the engine that keep your reality going. Your intentions, whether they be conscious or unconscious, they're the thing that keeps your entire reality going, because you're acting on your intentions, whether they be conscious or unconscious. You're putting things into the ground and you're working on them. You're putting seeds into the ground and you're growing those seeds. So let's be mindful about how these intentions work. And I want to tell you that when you get the confidence that comes from your preparedness in your process of manifestation, when you become confident, it sort of speeds up the process of manifestation itself. Because like I said, when you're prepared, you're confident. And think about my same example when you're taking a test. Think about when you're taking a test now. If you did not prepare for that test, you didn't read, you didn't explore, you didn't go through your books, you didn't, like I said, do the preparing process, or you don't know the purpose of why you're even taking this test in the first place. Think of how long it will take you to get to the end of that test. Do you know the person that usually has the highest grade on the test is the person that usually finishes first? Why? Because I know that when I came, first of all, I know all of these questions by heart on this test. There is no question you can ask me about this subject because I went through and through to explore this textbook. When I was in school, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was always on the honors list, always on the principals list, because when I went to study my topic, I ingested the information. I digested everything that was in that book to tell me what was going on. And so when I got to the test, I could answer the question before it was even asked. I get on there and this is A, that's B, that's D, that's E, that's C, that's A. I breeze right on through it because I prepared. Now, if I wasn't prepared and I get to a question, the very first question, what is this and why does it do that? I'm going to have to sit there and think, what is this and why? Why? Because I didn't prepare. So my manifestation is going to take me longer and longer and longer and longer the less I prepare. Because if I don't know what I'm doing going into my manifestation process, meaning the work that I have to do, if I don't know what I'm doing, it's going to take me longer to manifest. Think about the glass. If I don't know how to craft things, if I don't know the properties of liquid, let's just say, for example, I'm trying to create something that holds water and I'm trying to make a cup out of paper. I don't know the properties of the materials I'm trying to use to create my manifestation. I don't know that water is going to completely saturate and then tear apart that water because I didn't study my materials. I didn't look into what didn't explore any before I started to try to manifest this thing. I go and get something that's flimsy, like some tissue, and I try to reinforce or I try to, patch it up or do whatever. And it doesn't work. Time and time again, I'm using the wrong materials because I did not explore the environment to know that if I go and get some sand and heat it up and blast it, I'm going to be able to create a glass that is not only reusable, but it will actually hold my water because the properties of this allows it to hold whatever the properties of the liquid is. Okay. Because, even some things might be able to, like, for example, I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to let that go because y'all understand what I'm saying. You have to go into it prepared. You have to go into it with the idea that you're fully absorbing all that which is to know when you go into the process of manifestation. And then you gain your confidence. It goes quicker. Absolutely. You could definitely reach out. I'll be available as soon as I get off of this live. So I'll reach out to you and then we can go from there. So this is how we want to go forward in thinking about how we're manifesting our realities. You want to make sure that when you walk into it, that you're opening your eyes to all possibilities, opening your eyes to all things. And you also want to think about your win-win situations. If you come up to a place where you're designing your reality, and something doesn't seem like it's going to work out, or something doesn't seem like it's feasible, think about win-win situations. Don't scrap your whole idea, and don't, completely do away with something that isn't working just because it's not working. What you do is you reprogram. What you do is you re-engineer whatever it is that you were going to build. You are the master architect of your reality. So when something does not work, if you intended to let's just say you intended to put a swimming pool in your living room, but it somehow is not feasible. Turn it into a sunken living room. Make a new purpose for it. Well, you don't have to scrap the whole idea. Get you a win-win. Make you a sunken living room. Put you a couch in there and make it cute. It doesn't have to be all the way perfect. But when you recognize that it is what you wanted, it is what you intended to do, then it brings you joy. It brings you a sense of satisfaction. It brings you a sense of accomplishment when you have not only planted that seed of intention, but you also got out what you wanted. Okay? You get what you pay for. In this universe, you get what you pay for. You must pay your time, your attention, your focus, your preparation. Those are the costs of righteous manifestation. Those are the costs. So just make sure that you are putting forth that effort and putting forth the due diligence that it takes to be able to manifest your actual true desires, and not just those things that look good or those things that have monetary or superficial value, vain, or that vanity attached to it. You want things that actually bring something of substance to your soul, something of value to you. I don't make a whole lot of money doing what I do, but I'm building a business that brings personal satisfaction to me and something that I feel like settles my soul. I'm not necessarily a corporate hustler right now, but it's coming back into my reality in such a way that I can make it fit. Something that I can feel good about, something that I can feel like I'm serving my purpose, not that I'm doing what everybody else wants me to do and what looks good to everyone else. All right, you guys, I love you. These are some things I would like for you to think about, entertain the thought of preparing and consciously setting your intentions. Don't ever intentionally do something. And like I said before, I really need you to get this. When you are doing something, you're intentionally doing it. You will never raise your arm or write down something or laugh or pursue something if you're not intentionally doing it. You have free will. Unless somebody is holding a gun to your head, like I said, your actions are the indicator of your intentions. If I put my arm up, you can guarantee that because I actively did it, this was my intention to do. Okay? It was my intention to raise my hand. It was my intention to speak my voice, or my goodness gracious. It was my intention to speak my opinion. So again, this is how we know this is my intention. If you're doing it, then it's your intention. Whether you are consciously setting that intention or not, still, it is your intention to do. And so what you want to do is stop playing yourself and make up your intentions consciously by preparing for them, learning them, getting into a specific mode of thinking, and then consciously setting that seed of intention. Because if you're not thinking about it, if you're not preparing for it, if you're not expecting something, then you're subconsciously, willy-nilly planting seeds that you may or may not get what you want out of it. Okay, so this is Entertain the Thought. My name is Reese Roberts. My website, you guys, is www.reeseroberts.com. If you want to book a session with me, you can get a session anywhere from 30 minutes up to an hour. If you're a couple, you can schedule your meetings. I think it starts off at an hour and a half for couples. Because it kind of takes a little bit of time to get in there when we're talking about things. I will help you with your married life or your single life. It really just kind of depends on where you are. I want you to know that I am not perfect. I don't have all the answers, but I do have enough answers that I can be helpful and insightful. So if you want me to hear you out, if you want me to listen to whatever it is you have going on in your personal life or going on in your married life, just hit me up. I have a decent amount of insight that I can offer to where I can be helpful and at least open your eyes to how you're seeing things, how you're approaching things. Because one thing that is a fact is that two heads are better than one. I'm not perfect in my life and the way that I live my life, but I am very open and I am very introspective and I am very insightful. So, and I am very considerate. So if there are some things that you just need a new set of eyes for, you can, talk to me for those things. There is a assessment that's on my page, my website, www.reeseroberts.com. And when you click on the book a session, I think it just says book. It might say book a session on there. Click on that tab and it'll take you to a page where you can do your bookings. You can choose whatever time slots you want. If you want 30 minutes for an unscheduled call, if you want a full hour as an individual, you can choose that slot. There's also an assessment on there on that same page. So you can scroll down. I ask that you do the assessment because it helps me to get like background information. If you can give me background information as to what it is that you're looking for clarity on, or where you want to get unstuck, or you're just trying to like, okay, girl, this is just plaguing the hell out of me and I don't know what to do about it. Just give me the background as much as possible. Tell me the story in the assessment as much as you can. There are some fields where you can type things in and write your comments or whatever. So just give me that. And then when I actually get to the session with you, then we can go ahead and talk it out. We can actually work through the mechanics of it. And then you can walk away with some good nuggets of insight. Okay. So if you want to do that, do me that favor, do the assessment, and then I will hit you up. After I get the assessment, after I receive your payment, it's $20 for 30 minutes, $20. That's it. 30 minutes. And I'm going to tell you, y'all know I talk. Okay. So most over 30 minutes, but just do what you want to do. If you need a full hour, if you know you're going to need a full hour, go ahead and get the full hour session. If you can't really afford the fee, just let me know. I try to work with people. There are times where I let people pay me back. I've had that happen before. I don't mind. I'm very lenient and I'm very trusting. I'm not going to let you play me, but if you got a little situation, let a sister know. We all from the same place. We cousins. So let your cousin know what you need and I got you. If you're a little younger, let your auntie know what you need and I got you. Okay. We're going to get this thing done together. So you guys, leave me some comments, leave me some feedback. Let me know how you're liking my live broadcast. I like to post your comments and your feedback so that everybody else can know how great it is and what you're getting from it. So if you'll do me that favor, I'd like to engage with you as much as possible. One more time. This is Entertain the Thought. I am Reese Roberts. Please come back again on Monday. I will be here at 11 o'clock a.m. I'm thinking about doing this 3 times a week because my thoughts are starting to back up on me. And when I have a backup of my thoughts, I kind of want to get them out more. I might come back and do 3 times a week, doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you guys want that, let me know and I'll go ahead and increase my frequency. I might do it even if you don't want me to, because I really do this more for me than I do it for you. I really do this podcast so that I don't have to talk my husband's head off. So I talk y'all's head off instead. But if you want me to increase the frequency, I will do that. I'll probably do it anyway, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so that I can go ahead and talk with y'all. I might do a weekend session too. I'm thinking about that. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday instead of Friday, because y'all be at work. So maybe I'll do Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. That sounds good. Let me stop planning on this thing with y'all. I love you guys. Please hit me up. Please reach out. Please engage. Please leave your comments. Please visit the website. You can become a member on the website so you can get free book downloads. You can watch all my curated YouTube videos that I put on there for conscious people. If y'all don't know who Mark Passio is, you need to go find him. You need to be a member on my website so that you can get access to these curated lists of content that I got just for you. Okay? Just for you. So go ahead and go to www.reeseroberts.com, click on the Become a Member tab so you can join and get your free membership access, which is exclusive. If you're not a member, you can't get access to it. That's for free, though, so you might as well go ahead and do it. And then there's also the booking. If you want to book a session with me, click on that booking tab. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I love you guys. Please do come back. I'll holler at y'all.